going to go to a place where they can't just have meetings and they can't just kick the can down the road. We're going to go to Striver City. Striver City is a great place. Hardworking Americans, been a bit under the gun in the last several years with this economy going down. And Representative Rigell, Representative Edwards, you are congressional members representing two sides, east and west, of Striver City. You are different parties, Republican, Democrat. You also represent the environs. Now, here's the problem going on in Striver City right now. The Earthworm Tractor Factory employs 1,200 people. Earthworm's been kind of in trouble for a while now. And there's another plant, not too far away in Mountain Way. And Earthworm mayor has been telling you for a while, we're going to have to close one of these plants. 1,200 jobs, if your plant closes, are going to go away. You convene a conference call, Mayor, because you're calling Washington now. Have this call with your representatives. What are you going to do, especially with this tumult in Europe, because a third of Earthworm's stuff gets exported to Europe, and now Europe is in meltdown.
Well, we need to really have a focus on how we're going to make sure that cities, and our city in particular, doesn't suffer from continual job depletion. We have had 10% unemployment during the recession. We're just slowly getting out of it. And my main concern as mayor is that the budget cutting that you're talking about from Washington is going to have an adverse effect on our city and our attempts to recover from the recession.
And on Earthworm? On the tractor factory?
Nothing's worse than Earthworm. That is really a tough situation, and that employs a huge segment of people, as we all know, and I need help from Washington. You know, sometimes the local government can't do it all.
So have the conversation with them specifically about what you want them to do to help you save Earthworm.
Well, what Earthworm wants from us are really tax credits from Washington so that they can pay less in taxes. They want to have a training program because they don't feel that our city has enough qualified workers, and so we need a job training program. And I think both of those requests are pretty reasonable, but I need help from Washington on both.
Well, Mayor Iorio, I really appreciate you putting this call together. It's our friends and our neighbors who are hurting. Both Congresswoman Edwards and I think have been leading by example in what needs to be done in Washington, and that's working together to advance sound policy, the common ground that we've been able to find based on common facts, the things that we know, both as Democrats and Republicans, that would lead to job creation, and specifically with respect to the factory. I'm working right now with a Congresswoman to advance some legislation that would give us the type of financing, the international financing that we need as a nation to be competitive.
Well, you know, Mayor, you reminded us, and I appreciate that, you reminded us that what happens in Europe has a direct impact on even our smaller communities here in our congressional district, and it's been great to work with Congressman Rigell. But it seems to me that the kinds of things that Earthworm needs job training are things that are appropriate for the federal government to be able to provide resources for. It also seems that we're getting a lot of pressure from our colleagues who are wondering, why in the world do we have anything to do with Europe? They're going to hell in a handbasket. And you've reminded us of the story that we have to tell our colleagues about how connected we are to what's happening in Europe, but we're not Europe. And so we can do some things on job training. It does seem in the short term, too, we're going to have employees who are going to need unemployment compensation.
I'm going to intrude on this conference call.